You don't miss them. Your nervous system misses the pain. And that is a terrifying difference. Because some people never fall in love with a person, they fall in love with the emotional pattern that hurts them. The anxiety, the unpredictability, the emotional withdrawal, the chasing. Your brain can mistake emotional instability for meaning, and once that happens, peace starts feeling wrong. You've felt this before. The person who texted back consistently felt boring. The emotionally unavailable one became unforgettable. The relationship destroying you somehow felt more alive than the one protecting you. That isn't bad judgment, it's neuroscience. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make the familiar feel safe. And that changes everything. Because many people walking around calling it love are actually experiencing emotional recognition, not connection. Recognition. The nervous system loves patterns, especially old ones. If your earliest experiences of affection came mixed with unpredictability, criticism, distance, emotional inconsistency, your brain quietly learned something dangerous. Love must be earned through suffering. So later in life, calm affection doesn't feel natural. It feels suspicious. Your nervous system would rather recreate familiar pain than experience unfamiliar peace. And most people never realize that. This starts earlier than people think. A child doesn't understand relationships logically, they understand them biologically. Every interaction becomes data: tone of voice, facial expressions, absence, warmth, withdrawal. The brain begins constructing an emotional map of what connection feels like, not what healthy connection is, what familiar connection is. That distinction quietly controls adult relationships because the subconscious doesn't chase happiness, it chases emotional predictability, even if that hurts. This is why some people feel chemically attached to relationships that are destroying them. The body interprets intermittent affection like a survival reward. It's the same reinforcement system used in gambling addiction. Uncertainty intensifies dopamine release. Not receiving love consistently can actually make emotional attachment stronger, which explains something deeply uncomfortable. The relationships that damage people the most are often the hardest to leave. Not because they're deeply loved, because they're neurologically consuming. And modern life made this worse. Social media, read receipts, delayed replies, hot and cold behavior. Technology turned emotional inconsistency into a dopamine delivery system. Every notification became emotional roulette. Every silence became psychological suspense. And your brain adapted frighteningly fast. You started confusing emotional activation with emotional importance. But here's the twist nobody talks about. Your brain doesn't only become addicted to people, it becomes addicted to emotional states. Overthinking, longing, yearning, replaying conversations, checking messages, imagining scenarios. The mind can become chemically dependent on emotional tension itself, because emotional pain creates stimulation, and stimulation feels preferable to emptiness. That's why silence feels unbearable for some people, not because silence is painful, because silence removes distraction from unresolved emotion. You are not always seeking love. Sometimes you are seeking emotional occupation. There's a reason people revisit memories that hurt them. The brain believes unfinished emotional experiences are survival relevant, so it replays them obsessively, not to torture you, to solve them. But traumatic emotional patterns rarely resolve through analysis, because the problem isn't informational, it's biological. The body remembers emotional environments long after the mind moves on. That's why someone can consciously know a relationship was toxic and still crave it physically. Your heartbeat changes, your sleep changes, your appetite changes, because attachment isn't just psychological, it's physiological. Love literally alters stress chemistry, and withdrawal from unstable affection can resemble addiction withdrawal. This is why loneliness after toxic relationships feels so confusing. You don't just miss the person, you miss the stimulation, the chaos, the anticipation, the emotional spikes. Without them, ordinary life feels emotionally flat. And that's where people make the mistake. They think peace feels empty because something is missing. But often, peace feels empty because your nervous system was trained to expect emotional noise. Healthy love can initially feel unfamiliar, even unsafe. No chasing, no guessing, no emotional volatility, just consistency. And consistency can feel emotionally invisible to a brain conditioned by instability. That realization changes how you see people, but it changes how you see yourself even more. Because suddenly, your relationship history stops looking random. Patterns appear. The same emotional dynamics, different faces, the same wounds wearing different voices. And maybe the hardest realization is this: some people don't fear being hurt, they fear not being emotionally consumed. Because intensity creates the illusion of meaning. But intensity is not intimacy, chaos is not connection, and suffering is not love. Your brain simply learned to associate them together. The most dangerous addictions are the ones society romanticizes, and emotional suffering is one of them. So the next time you feel obsessed with someone, ask a different question. Not, do I love them? Ask, why does this pain feel familiar? Because sometimes the strongest emotional pull in your life is not coming from the future, it's coming from the past, pretending to be love.